The Supreme Court wrapping up 3 days of oral arguments on the health care law at issue this afternoon, whether the government can expand Medicaid to help cover the uninsured. Bloomberg's Hughes has been in the courtroom, and she joins us now on this last day of oral arguments. Megan, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mark. You know, we've been talking so much about the individual mandate. Today, a slightly different provision, this Medicaid expansion. The law expands Medicaid to single adults up to 133% of the poverty level. Now, 26 states are challenging that. Important to point out, it's an uphill battle for them. They haven't won in any of the lower courts, but Paul Clement making that case today, saying that that is federal coercion. Number one, because he says if the states don't comply, they're going to lose all of their Medicaid funding. And number two, he says because of the sheer size of it. He put it at $3.3 trillion over 10 years. Now, the government pays for 100% of that coming out of the gates in 2016. That does wind down to 90% in 2020. The Solicitor General today making the case that this is constitutional, that Medicaid is one of several examples of federal-state cooperation. And Justice Sotomayor, Mark, seemed to be backing him up today. She said she's concerned that if they were to rein in this Medicaid expansion, quote, we're going to tie the hands of the federal government. So the states may have better luck if the entire law is struck down. But, you know, it's hard to say. It could have been playing devil's advocate as well.
Megan, what are you hearing? Because the conversation, at least the last couple of days, has been specifically the lawyers who were the Solicitor General and those who were arguing in favor of the health care law. They basically got grilled by the conservative justices the other day, which gave rise to speculation that maybe the individual mandate portion of the law would be struck down, but that the remainder of the law would be kept intact. What conversations are you hearing about that on this final day of the arguments?
Well, there's certainly been a lot of speculation about the first half of that, Mark. There was a lot of skepticism from the justices yesterday about the individual mandate. I have to tell you, I was in court this morning. They were discussing that issue of severability, what happens to the rest of the law. And a lot of the justices seemed very skeptical about the idea of legislating, of enacting what they think should be Congress's job. Take a listen to Justice Scalia.
Approach would say if you take the heart out of the statute's gone. It enables Congress to do what it wants in the usual fashion, and it doesn't inject us into the process of saying this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad.
Now, keep in mind, Mark, this is the critical issue for insurers, because if that mandate is struck down but the rest of the law stays, a lot of analysts say that is the worst case for insurers. That's going to be very costly for them. Mark.
Bloomberg's Hughes at the Supreme Court. Megan, thanks.